Okay, we are now joined by the driver of the number 8. It is Kyle Busch. If you have a question for Kyle, the Las Vegas native, please raise your hand, and we'll get you a mic. Who wants to start us off? Go there in the back middle, and then we'll go to Bob.
Hi, Kyle. Harroger at UNLV Rebel Report. Welcome back to Vegas. I know this is always a special weekend for you, so just what are the emotions like going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to get back to the hometown, have an opportunity to come out here and race again. It's been a while since we've gone to victory lane at this place, being 2009, but I've had some really strong runs here as of late. I think 3 third-place finishes in the last 4 or 5 races, or 4 third-place finishes, something like that. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, it's nice to get here. Certainly wish the weather was better. You know, 7 days ago it was beautiful here, and then NASCAR came to town.
Obviously, yesterday, your teammate in the Truck Series race, Roger Cruth, got his first win in NASCAR. I just want to say, what were the conversations like after? And did you congratulate him and all of that?
Yeah, I just sent him a note, you know, late last night or whatever when we got done, and was congratulating him, telling him he did a great job and how well of a race that he ran. His racecraft was really good. We ran side by side a lot. We had an issue last year at a race that I had to sit him down and talk to him about, and seemed like he really listened. So he did a great job and well deserving of the victory. They were fast, so cool to see a Spire truck win all 3 truck races this year.
Go to Bob up front.
Bob Parkhurst, Fox Sports. Since you mentioned the weather, like how much impact did the wind have yesterday, and how much do you expect it to have tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean the wind isn't terrible for us on the racetrack. It's more uncomfortable, or just you know, wears on you a little bit when you're in the grandstands, probably as a race fan. So you know, you know where the wind's blowing, so you kind of have to drive a little bit differently as you would on how you attack the corners, whether you're in a headwind or a tailwind, and then also just being around traffic when you want to make your moves, and what straightaway you feel like you're best prone to be able to make that pass on somebody with headwind or tailwind.
Lee?
Lee Spencer, CatchFence.com, SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. It's a small sample size, but to be leading the points after 2 races has to be more advantageous than feeling like you have to fight your way out of a hole, is it not?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've always been a strong proponent of you know, getting a good start to the season, having a strong start, you know, whether it's winning races or just coming out with top 10 finishes to kind of build your foundation to your season. And I feel like the first 2 weeks, if I would have restarted 1 lane different on the last restart for Daytona, we would have finished 4th, you know. So we could be talking about a 4th and a 3rd, you know, which would be really good. And we've actually been collecting a few stage points here so far this year, which has been good. So a little bit of a struggle today, a little behind on the 8 ball, and not where we want to be with our Camaro. So hopefully we can fine-tune it in for tomorrow. Really not much we can do with impound and going into the race, but we'll go to work.
And you talked a little bit about Raja, and several of the Cup drivers have said he's come to them for advice and has been willing to listen. And I'm curious, with Brexton, you know, coming through the ranks, how important is that for a driver to take that feedback and make something into it? And is Brexton spending any time iRacing? Is he ready for that yet? Is that, you know, could this be, we see Raja, we see William Byron. Is this just going to be another tool in the toolbox to get young drivers up to speed?
Yeah, no, definitely. It certainly is. And with the release on iRacing coming this week of our home track, Millbridge, and the micro program being on there as well, he's going to get a lot of seat time on iRacing to be able to prepare himself as we're going to run for, you know, the season there starts up in a couple weeks. And, you know, just talking with these young guys, I mean, you know, we've been through it with the Christopher Bells and the Eric Joneses and the Bubba Wallaces at KBM, and you know, now Raja is just another one of those. And being in the driver meeting with him this past week and trying to talk through some of the things that he learned last week or he had questions on. I mean, I first saw him on pit road over there yesterday after qualifying, and he's right up on me like, "Hey man, what do you think? What do we got to do? What's this? What's that?" So, no, he's good, and you know, he he doesn't ask dumb questions. He's like, this might be a dumb question. I'm like, actually, it's not. So you kind of get an understanding. And being in that boat for me for 12 years, I kind of know where some of these kids are coming from with their inexperience. Yep.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires on it. I was actually going to ask you about the iRacing with the micro sprint, but I'll segue into this. Looking at your, upbringing, coming through the ranks of racing, how would an iRacing and sim have helped you along the way? Are you kind of sad that you didn't get to do some of the stuff that these young guys are doing? Do you think it will help them long run, kind of get more into the sport?
Well, Jerry, I'm not that old. They had this thing called NASCAR 2000 on papyrus, if you remember. I remember that. Yes, I burned laps on that thing like it was nothing. I mean, the R button was my favorite button. Restart, 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 restart. I think I was so good at restarts throughout my entirety is because I would restart, restart, restart. No, I'd always try to, if I didn't qualify good on a race or something, I'd always try to figure out how fast I could get to the lead, and pass cars. So I wish I could turn the competition down here in real life, and get back towards the front again. But these guys are tough. But I did some of that stuff, I remember being a kid, I think I was 13, 14, just starting racing Legends cars. And I ran a full season on the Cup calendar with the Cup cars, like every Sunday while the Cup race is happening on TV, I'd either be watching or I'd be running my own. You know what I mean? So it was always pretty fun that I got a chance to do that after our Friday nights and Saturday nights of racing right over here at the bull ring.
Now we will be happy you brought up cars.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll wrap it up with Chris.
ChrisTimeCatchments.com. Kyle, I was just curious what your thoughts were on Atlanta from a mental standpoint. Were you exhausted after the race, and how do you feel about going back there for the playoff opener in September?
I think I was too pissed off to be exhausted. That being that close to winning a Cup race is certainly one for the books, but also just a bit frustrated. Obviously, just not being able to execute everything I needed to do and I thought about doing. I just didn't think of it in the moment, so I knew ahead of time, but just wasn't able to get it through when I needed. But looking back on it, seeing it as a finish and the attention that it got and some of the media stuff that I did during the week, was really cool to get some notoriety and get some for our sponsors as well as our sport, and to be that close in a third place finish. Again, it stings to be third. Much rather be the guy on top being able to take home a trophy, but was an intense race all throughout. I don't think you really saw much lollygagging like we did at Daytona, a lot of part throttle, saving fuel, all that sort of stuff. So we didn't get a chance to see some of that at Atlanta, really. There were some crashes, some single car stuff, a couple car stuff. Obviously the first lap, if that didn't happen, I think you would have had everything that a race would need.
Do you think it'll be more intense with the playoff?
It's a playoff opener, right? No, you would think that these guys would make it less intense because it's the playoff opener and you don't want to knock yourself out or take a chance of ruining a points day. It becomes really important to get points. So, I think early in the season, like that race right there, like Daytona and Atlanta to kick off, everybody's going for broke. They all know they have a chance to win. You're going to see anybody and everybody try to score a win, right? And so when you get down to that Atlanta time, yeah, guys that are outside the playoffs still want to win to make their year, but I would think it would be a bit calmer.
Thank you for the time, Kyle. Good luck tomorrow.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks.
you.
Yep.
All right, there's the checkered flag.